Hello, good evening everyone. Welcome to ACE Online and welcome to Daily Current Affairs Initiative. Today we will be discussing about the current affairs which are covered in yesterday, that is Sunday 28th January, as well as today's current affairs issues, that is 29th January, right? So we will be discussing all the news that are relevant for our exam from yesterday as well as today's newspapers and other sources which are very much important for our exams. So these are the articles that we are going to cover for today's session. First one is special economic zones. So this is part of Indian economy. And then caste census. This is part of social issues, right? Then Western equine encephalitis virus. So this comes part of diseases in science and yeah, sorry for the disruption, there is some issue. So the sixth article will be INSAT 3DS, which will comes under the part of science and technology. Then end-to-end encryption, a brief conceptual thing we will see, no need to worry about the technicalities. So that is also comes under the science and technology. Then factual pointers, there are some 4 or 5 factual points which are directly they can ask in the exam, and then some practice questions also we will see. Okay, so these are the articles that we are going to cover today. Yes, it is resolved. Yes, video was stuck. Yes, it is resolved now, you can see it. So there is no issue now, I hope. Yeah, so we'll proceed ahead with the first article, that is special economic zones. Let's understand the context first, why it is there in news. Recently, Commerce Secretary, the Ministry of Commerce we have, under it there is a secretary in charge from the administration side. So he has announced that government is working certain reforms in special economic zones. We will understand what is special economic zones and all, don't worry. Just understand the context why it is there in news. Okay, even sometimes if you remember the news why it is there, it also will help you in the exams, right? So that's why you need to remember the context as well why it is there in news. Okay, he also has hinted a little bit more that during the pandemic years, that means COVID years 2020 to 2021 22, there was a vacation of areas from special economic zones. So they are areas only, we will see what is it. Many people or many companies has vacated cess because there was a work from home option, so there is no need of any physical area. So that's why many people have vacated cess, which government has created, both states and centers together. So that's why again there is a change in activity. That means the physically the officer has opened. Now we need to bring certain reforms. So that's why government is working on it. So that is the context that he said. And also one more thing he said was, because of the COVID, there was a demarcation. I mean the differences between cess and domestic tariff area. This too we will understand. Don't worry. What is cess? What is domestic area? Why they have demarcated? Those things we will see. He just said this statement that the government has demarcated between this cess as well as the domestic tariff area during the COVID years. Okay. Now we will see from the basics what is cess and all. Then you will understand the context. At the end of the article, again we will briefly come to this context so that you will understand it. You will connect it to the actual issue. Okay. Right. So what is special economic zones? Let's understand the background. For any country, especially the countries like India or even other developing countries, we are lacking certain financial resources, right? Government is not having too much funds to spend on creating infrastructure or even creating some companies, employment. This is not very much freely available for the government because of lack of resources. So what governments do, government will encourage the foreign companies like it can be Apple, it can be Amazon, so other companies which are not origin from India. So they encourage other countries to invest in India. For that, they need to take certain measures. One such measure is special economic zones, right? So it is nothing but a physical area which is part of country itself. So it will be part of our country only, subjected to different economic rules when we compare to other part of country. For example, India is having this much amount, so government will collect taxes from all this area, and there are certain rules and regulations. But government will create certain areas within country so that they can exclude certain taxes, certain rules and regulations, so that all companies from other countries will come and invest here. So what will happen? There will be more employment generation here, there will be more goods and services production from these areas, so that country will generate, the overall country's employment will increase, also financial resources also will be resolved. So that's why government has created special economic zones. These are the zones which are not directly comes under the rules and regulations. They are having certain different rules so that they invest more, they are encouraged to invest more and produce more, right? So what is the aim of cess? We have already discussed. There are twin goals for special economic zones. One is attracting FDIs, right? So attracting foreign direct investments from other country companies. And one more object is creating jobs. Of course, if foreign companies coming to India and investing here, so they will also recruit certain employees for the jobs, right? So they cannot recruit from other countries. There is certain rules and regulations, and also they can pay very less amount of salaries from India, right? That is in general. So Indians take little bit less salary when we compare to the other countries. So that's why it is a twin goals to increase investment as well as generating the jobs, right? So that is the objective of special economic zones. And what are the facilities available? That is also relevant for our exam. Okay, you are saying that government is giving certain benefit. What benefits government is giving for special economic zones? That we need to understand it. First, goods for the creation, operation. I mean, see, if any company want to generate certain things, say for example, Amazon want to develop certain goods. For that, they need to include certain raw material. For example, to develop or to produce wheat, you need, to produce bread, you need wheat, right? So like that, for any final product, you need to have certain raw material. So these goods for creation, operation and maintenance of any companies located in the cess will be imported duty free. Imported duty free means generally if you are importing certain goods from other countries, take Hayabusa bikes. So there will be certain tax, 28% extra tax, because it is not an Indian good, it is a foreign good. So you need to pay. Then what we will do, Indians, rather than buying that foreign bike, we will rather buy the Indian bike which will come with the lesser cost, right? So that is actual mechanism. But here import duty is waived because they are working from India. They are generating goods from India. That's why this taxes will be exempted. I mean the imported duty will be exempted for those countries who are investing in special economic zones. Also exempted from certain taxes like corporate tax. Most of the companies has to pay corporate tax unless until they are exempted to certain rules. So here the companies which are investing or producing the goods and services in cess, they will be exempted from corporate tax, minimum tax. So those all things are exempted. And then external commercial borrowings. That means what? Private companies taking loan from other countries, not from Indian government or Indian people, rather taking from other banks which are located in other countries. So these companies which are investing in cess can take up to $50 million of loan every year from other countries, right? Those are called as external commercial borrowings. So the government is allowing them to take loans also so that they can pay back, and there is no maturity period. That means what? The final amount which has to be paid in certain limit. So it can be 5 years, 10 years, 15 years. It is up to the condition that the given bank has kept. So there is no condition from Indian government side, right? So this is also one more important point. And single window clearances. So if you want to start any business in India, you need to run through many ministries. You need to take permission from Ministry of Finance and then Ministry of Environment and then local Tahsildar office. So all these things will be excluded, and at a single place, at a single go, government will verify all those things and they directly give the permission. So it encourages the business to invest more, right? So these are all the incentives and facilities that cess companies will get. And few more we need to know facts which are relevant. This cess act has come in 2005, very, very important. Special economic zones has come up in 2005 through Special Economic Zones Act. Prior to that, there is many other such schemes like Export Promotion Council or area, something like that. But the proper Special Economic Zones, the concept was established in 2005 and it came into effect from 2006. Okay, so the rules came into the picture from 2006. This is also important. Presently, India have around 379 special economic zones across India. Okay, so distributing across India, we have around 379 special economic zones, and out of that 265 are operational. You no need to worry. Total 379 we have, and out of that 265 are optional. You can operational. You can just remember this particular fact. And out of the total cess across India, 64% cess, that means out of 164. So out of 379, approximately 200 cess are located in just 5 states, that are Tamil Nadu, Telangana, Karnataka, Andhra Pradesh and Maharashtra. So these 5 states itself occupying 64% of special economic zones. Okay, and the board which is governing the cess, like who is giving permission and cross-checking the certificates, all these things are taken by Secretary of Commerce, who commented early. The context you can recall there. What he said, we will be bringing the reforms. So this particular personality or the institution under Ministry of Commerce is responsible for taking care of special economic zones along with the state governments, right? And what are domestic tariff areas? So you go back to the context here. So Commerce Secretary has said that they have demarcated all the cess and other domestic tariffs separately. So now we have seen about the cess. Now let's understand what is domestic tariff area. Tariff means it is a tax like a duty like thing, right? So domestic tariff area means all that part of India. So this is India, we have seen. There are cess in certain areas. So all that part of India other than cess. So there are cess. So all this area in India. So this is whole circle is India and these are cess areas. So other than cess areas, whatever the area that is located in India, including the maritime boundaries, that is some companies like oil rig companies will be in oceans as well. So all this part other than cess is nothing but domestic tariff area. Like general, whatever the goods you produce, you need to pay certain tax. like Indian companies, maybe some foreign companies, maybe not only in CES but outside of CES also there will be certain companies. So all that area other than CES is called as domestic tariff area. Okay, this, as we have discussed, so it is not part of special economic zone. It is an area not under jurisdiction of customs bonded area. So what is custom tax? So custom tax is generally laid on imports and exports. So if some goods you are importing from USA, it need to go through the customs officials. They will check and they will lay some tax, then only you will be able to enter into the Indian market. So here this is a domestic tariff. I mean, all this area is nothing but an Indian area other than CES. So why they want to pay customs? They no need to pay any customs. They does not comes under the custom regulation. Custom bonded area means which area comes under the customs regulation. So CES comes under the customs regulation because those companies are foreign and they can export and import, right? So here this domestic tariff area does not comes under the customs bonded area. And what are certain differences in regulation of CES as well as domestic tariff area? Let's see. Okay, unlike CES, which has designated sites, so we have seen there are certain designated sites within India which were recognized as a special economic zones. But DTA units can be set up anywhere in India. Okay, excluding in CES areas. Excluding in CES areas, they can set up anywhere throughout India. They cannot operate in CES site. So that's what I was telling you. Except CES site, they can establish anywhere and do not require special authorization for setup. So before CES being set up in India, they need to take permission at one go. They need to check from which country you are, from where you are registered. So all these things government will take in detail. But as these other companies like domestic tariff areas, in domestic tariff areas, as the companies will be mostly from India or maybe some foreign companies also will be there, they does not require too much of regulation. They will go through just normal registration, right? So that is one more difference. CES enjoy benefits as duty-free customs. So we have seen there is, whenever you are importing foreign goods for as a raw materials to be used for producing, you need to pay certain duty to the government because you are importing other countries' goods. CES areas as exempted, but DTS, they are working in other parts of CES, outside of CES, they need to pay the taxes. If the company located in other than CES importing certain raw materials from foreign countries, you need to pay duty, and whereas CES companies no need to pay duty, right? CES units can procure goods from DTA. So whatever the CES units located in the company, of the companies located in CES area, they can procure goods from domestic tariff areas. That means companies which are producing beyond CES areas without payment of central excise duty. So excise duty means what? Identify the difference between customs duty and excise duty. Excise duty is paid on production of goods and services. Just if you produce something in India, you need to pay certain amount of tax to the government. That is called as excise duty. Whereas custom duty is when you are importing or exporting certain goods, you need to pay extra tax to the government, right? So here, whenever the CES units are recruiting certain or taking certain goods from the domestic tariff areas, they no need to pay any excise duty because government is encouraging to okay, you take goods from Indian companies but produce more. So that's what the logic behind this. Whereas exports of goods of DTA, domestic tariff areas, if domestic tariff areas are exporting, then they need to pay tax. So only exemption is for CES. That is also important. While CES units enjoy more perks and a compliance process is more cumbersome. So here CES will have more perks, what are the benefits and all, because they are coming to India and investing it. But for domestic area tariff areas are not such benefits. They don't get such benefits. Okay, right? So these are the 2 points. Only GST compliance will be required for DTA. That will be sufficient. And what are the issues with special economic zones? So the Commerce Secretary is saying that we are facing certain issues. So we are reforming it. What issues they are facing? Let's see some issues. Only 30% of India's total exports are coming from CES. So what is the policy for CES? What is the rationale behind establishing CES? They want to encourage more export from India. It is always good if country is exporting goods because they will get lot of foreign exchange, right? So only 30% are being exported from cess and rest of 70% is from domestic tariff area other than cess. So what is the use? You are encouraging cess but without having proper benefits. So that is one issue. cess has failed to bolster manufacturing. Rather they were focusing more on services, IT based software, but they are not creating manufacturing. That means what? If you are creating manufacturing, it has a benefit of creating intensive employment for the citizens. But here they are not focusing on manufacturing, they are focusing on the IT services. So that is one issue. And about 50% of land has remained unutilized. The area in cess, 50% of land is unutilized because there was certain specific sector constraint that only textile industry has to take this area, no other industry is allowed. So if government is putting certain condition, then why other companies will occupy? Because they are not liking. Only textile sector is not willing to take, but other sectors are not allowed by the government. So that area has laid vacant, right? So these are the issues, and there are regional disparities. So we have seen almost 64% of cess areas are concentrated on specific states. So this is also not good thing because other states are not benefiting from it. And then ineffective coordination between the central and state agencies because of lot of federal issue, political issues. Again, they are facing challenges, right? So these are the challenges. Baba Kalyani committee has come up with sort of solutions for it to rename and to give some perks, extra perks and focus on manufacturing. So those solutions also we can quote if you are writing any conventional exam, right? So that is about the cess. Can you share PDF daily? Okay, I will tell Anil to the team to share the cess, to share the PDF. Okay, so let's move to the second article, that is caste census. So this is very brief. We are not going to see the detailed caste census of Bihar state government, but only what is caste census, why it is required, why there are issues surrounding caste census. Okay. So first one, the context we will understand why it is there in news. Recently, Andhra Pradesh and Telangana governments has asked for conducting the caste census after Bihar state. So Bihar has already conducted the caste census. Now Andhra Pradesh, Telangana are also moving for conducting the caste census. Andhra Pradesh has already started and Telangana is planning to start the caste census. So this is the context. Now let's understand what is caste census. So census means collecting data related to the demographic or population. But in the context of caste census, there is a collection of data related to the caste. So India is having Varna system since Vedic times, like Brahmins, Kshatriyas, then Vaishyas and Shudras and some untouchables. So we have Varna system, and within these 4 Varnas we again were divided into number of sub-caste, right? So more than thousands of caste we have in India. So government is willing to collect the data of caste of the families or individuals. So that is called as caste census. Every census, the general census, the demographic census, for every 10 years we are conducting the census. The COVID year census, 2021 census has been little bit delay, but prior to that we were collecting census for every 10 years, right? From 1951, that was the first census after Indian independence, till 2011, recent census, we have collected the data of scheduled castes and scheduled tribes within that census itself. Like every 10 years we are collecting the census data. Within that we have collected the data related to scheduled castes and scheduled tribes. But we did not collect the data of OBC or general category or economically backward caste. So only these two we are conducting. That's why government across the states, like different governments, they want to conduct the caste census separately for all the castes, right? So that is the very basic thing about the caste census. So why there is a demand from caste of caste census from different regions? There are certain reasons why government want to come up with the caste census. First thing, they want to reduce the inequality among the castes. So if you see Indian society across from Jammu Kashmir to Kanyakumari or Gujarat to Arunachal Pradesh, there are a lot of disparities based on caste. Some castes were higher developed, some castes are lower developed. because of discrimination, because of land distribution historically. So government want to collect the data and identify the most backward caste and give more benefits, which is called as affirmative action, right? So government want to give more benefits to those castes which are behind in the development, so that inequalities are reduced. So that is one case. Then non-availability of data since 1931. So Indian government under the British rule has conducted the caste census in 1931, way back, and we are almost approximately nearing 100 years, and we does not updated our caste census data. So which castes are backward, which castes are forward, nobody knows. So properly the data want to be collected, because already the old data has been gone its importance. Then targeted welfare, so that's what, like whatever the castes that are backward, they want to identify the development in those particular backward sections. So targeted welfare means focusing more on specific sections of the society which are behind in the development. So that is one more reason. The issue of subcategorization. So if you see the OBC caste, some castes within OBCs are highly forwarded and some castes are behind. The same in case of scheduled caste as well as scheduled tribe. Only certain sections are cornering the reservation benefits. So that's why government want to divide this reservation within the subcaste. The 27% given to OBCs has to be again distributed among the different castes, because it is not benefiting all the sections equally, right? So these are the reasons why the governments are mulling to conduct the caste census. And issue with the caste census. So there are certain issues, certain challenges in conducting the caste census. So that also we need to learn. Issue of privacy. So you know, in many educational institutions and employment places, there is a lot of caste discrimination. So if a person is from certain caste, they are not very much interacted because of various discriminations. So that again, if you are collecting the data, so the neighbors may be discriminated by the higher caste, right? So that issue of privacy is still there. Then further dividing India on caste lines. So already the goal of reservation based on the caste is to reduce the inequalities. That's what our constitutional father Ambedkar has said, right? But you are again dividing it. You are dividing the Indian society based on the caste lines explicitly through the data. So that is one more issue. More demand for reservation. So if the data is collected, there will be more demand for reservation from different communities. So this will keep up increasing rather than going towards the what goal we have put during the reservation. Too many castes and subcastes within India. So that may reduce the accuracy of the data. So again, there may be malpractices and the benefits may go to certain castes again, right? So these are the issues with the caste census. We have to see how it is being implemented across states once it come into the picture, right? So that is about the caste census, right? Any doubts in caste census? Okay, we'll move to the third article. Western equine encephalitis virus. So this is a viral infection. So the context is this, why it is there in news. Recently on December 20, so this article was covered in the Hindu yesterday on Sunday, but this actually happened in December 2023. Okay, World Health Organization has alerted the human case of Western equine encephalitis virus. So World Health Organization has alerted Argentina government that there is a disease in the humans. Usually it occurs in the birds and all, so we does not bother much. But when it spreads to the humans, then we will get alerted. So World Health Organization has alerted Argentina that there is a case of human related this view. So there is a human case, so that's why it has alerted. That is the context of the article. Now we will see what is Western equine encephalitis virus infection that is relevant for our exam. So the questions can be asked from this about the disease, how it affected and all. It is a mosquito-borne infection, right? Like malaria, it is borne through mosquito only, caused by the view. So this is the virus name, Western equine encephalitis virus, and has a long-stranded single RNA. So we have a double-stranded DNA for humans, right? Here, this particular virus have single-stranded RNA, okay? Birds are thought to be the reservoirs. Reservoirs means which can carry the disease, which can store the virus. So birds are the storing reservoirs, and equine species. Equine means horse or zebra or ass. So these are called as equine species or intermediate host. That means from one bird, so here birds are hosting or reservoiring the virus, right? And the horses here, the horse or zebras, they are getting touch with the birds because birds somehow they interact with the animals. So these are the carriers, intermediary host. So intermediately they are hosting, and again this can be transmitted through mosquito bites. So mosquitoes will get this blood from the animals and they will transfer it to the humans. Again it will cause the disease. So these are the final transmitters. So birds are the reservoirs and equine species are intermediary host, and final transmitters are mosquitoes towards the humans, right? So this you need to know. An estimated 4 to 5% cases may be manifested with a serious or brain issue. So this is not that fatal like other diseases. This is having 4 to 5. Of course 4 to 5 is also a fatal one, but not as high as like Nipah virus, which is having 50% fatality. Here the severity is less, so which is a good thing. There is no specific antiviral treatment. So there is no antiviral treatment like vaccines and all. So only thing is, whenever you have symptoms, we need to take care from the hospital. There is no prevention, rather we have only cure. So this is about the view diseases. Any doubts in this? Okay, we'll move ahead to the next article. Mahatma Gandhi National Rural Employment Guarantee Scheme. So Manrega, let's understand the context, then we will go about the Manrega scheme as well as Aadhaar based payment systems. So on January 1st this year, Ministry of Rural Development has announced that Aadhaar based payment systems are mandatory in case of Manrega scheme. We will understand why it has mandated and all. We will come to the context, don't worry. Let's understand the articles of Manrega and the Aadhaar payment system, then you can connect to the context from your side. Okay. So government has mandated that all the Manrega workers has to get the wages only through Aadhaar based payment systems. So that was announced by Ministry of Rural Development. Now we will understand what is Manrega, Mahatma Gandhi National Rural Employment Generation Program. It is an Indian social welfare measure, like how the number of schemes we have across ministries. So this is also one such scheme which guarantees right to work. So people who want to work in rural areas, not in urban areas, okay? It is only for rural areas. So people who want to work and earn money, it is being supported by the government itself. You come, work here, create certain assets, then take money for your daily employment. So this is a guaranteed scheme for right to work for rural areas. So this is also very important for rural areas, not for urban areas. Okay. So the government of India introduced this scheme in 2005. That is also important when it was introduced to address problem of unemployment and poverty in rural areas. So you can see when we compare to the urban areas, rural areas generally have more unemployment because they are solely focused on agriculture. But unlike in urban areas, there is diversified like IT sector, manufacturing, construction. But here there is no diversification. That's why government want to address this issue of unemployment along with the poverty. Of course, they will get money. Every rural households in the nation will receive 100 days of guaranteed employment. So out of 365 days that we have in a year, 100 days of employment is guaranteed. So that is the thing. So even if they are getting 200 per day, 200 into 100, so approximately 20,000 they can earn. Of course, this is a less. Now the money has been increased. At least without being work and not earning anything. So at least for food or the basic amenities they can earn. So government has guaranteed 100 days of employment for all the rural people who are willing to work in a year. So this is also very important for exam point of view. Some more features about the scheme. So objective understood, right? What is Manrega scheme and why government is implementing it? It is just guaranteeing 100 days employment so that they will get money and they can come out of poverty, right? So that is the objective. and it is a centrally sponsored scheme. Means it is in coordination with, sponsored means center plus states. Central sector means only completely handled by the central government. So it is a centrally sponsored scheme jointly funded by both central as well as state governments. That is one important, and it is under the Ministry of Rural Development, administered by Ministry of Rural Development. It takes initiative to decrease the number of migrations. See, if you are encouraging employment in rural areas, so the people from rural areas will not migrate to urban areas, because urban areas are congested. It is very difficult to provide all the basic amenities in the urban areas. So government indirectly also reducing the migration. If you are not giving employment, the people are willing to migrate to urban areas to get employment. As government is giving it, at least certain part of migration is controlled. So that is again the one more objective of the government. Under the scheme, almost all the control is given to the Gram Panchayats. Very important thing, we are handling it through decentralization approach, like Panchayat Raj, through Panchayat Raj. So decentralization means development bringing from the bottom of the society, not upper from the government, rather bringing from the people itself. So all the scheme related issues, who has to get the employment, how much the person has to get, how many days they need to give in particular week, all these things are handled at the Panchayat level. So people together they are working so that it is benefiting for all the sections. Provisions of the scheme, which is very important for our exam. Wage employment must be provided within 15 days of the registration. So if I am a rural person and I want to get employment and I go for registration, so immediately after registration, within 15 days, I have to be given with employment. Or if I am not given with employment, then I will get unemployment allowance. Unemployment allowance. For not giving me work, government has to give certain amount of money for me, right? So which is a good thing. This is backed by the scheme Manrega Act. The Act sets minimum limit to wages. So many people will give only 100 rupees, 50 rupees. No, we are not going to accept it. We are going to set a minimum wage limit, that is at least 200 has to be given per day for certain type of work. There are certain criteria of work, like working in reservoirs, creation, agriculture, feeds. There are many other things which government may take care in rural areas. So here minimum wage is fixed, which is gender equality. So men and women will get equal amount of wages. There is no gender discrimination, right? Also, there are social audits. So social audit means assessing the performance of the scheme, how it is affecting the people's life, whether they can come out of poverty, or whether the assets has been created as planned. So all this social audit is being taken under the scheme, which is mandatory. Okay, the state governments have powers to make rules and changes in the rules. The state governments, if want, they can slightly modify the rules, because different states have different type of qualities. So accordingly, state governments can vary it. And Gram Panchayats are implementing at least 50% of works in terms of cost, right? So that is also one more important thing, right? Now that is about the Manrega. So the people who are getting wages from Manrega, now government has mandated Aadhaar based payment systems. So if you want to get money after getting employed, then you need to use the Aadhaar based payment systems to take the salary or the wage. Okay. So here let's understand what is Aadhaar based payment services. Now if you go for the banks, you have a number of bank accounts, 3-4 bank accounts, and you don't know where to get funds, especially for rural people. They don't know to which bank they want to go, or how much they need to take, how many registration they have to done. So what here in Aadhaar based payment system, only the account is linked to the Aadhaar number. The bank accounts are linked to the Aadhaar number. So even if you are having 2-3 bank accounts, you can link it to one Aadhaar number, and they will get the money directly based on the Aadhaar number, not based on the account number. So they are not going to ask you your bank account, rather they are going to ask you the Aadhaar number, so that they will directly transfer it to your money. Because see, different bank accounts can be given. For example, if I want to get the wage, I can give my sisters or brothers or my friends account as well, and the money can be utilized by themselves itself, or even irregularities can happen. But if you are creating Aadhaar number which is unique, one person have one Aadhaar number, so that government can easily directly transfer to the actual beneficiary, right? So that is about the Aadhaar based payment systems, right? All these points are similar like what I was telling you or explaining you. The same points is here, you can read it. The Act's principal point is that person's Aadhaar number becomes the financial address. So that particular Aadhaar number itself is the financial address of a individual. So instead of providing multiple account details, all these things changes and all, you can just give one single Aadhaar number. In cases of multiple accounts, if you are having multiple accounts with the single Aadhaar number, whatever the latest one, the last one that you have linked to your Aadhaar number, you will get the money into this particular account, right? So that is the context. Government is, they want to link it to the Aadhaar number of all your bank accounts and directly give the money to your Aadhaar based payment systems, right? Right to work will come under which article? AIM CPWD. See, right to work here is not a fundamental right. That is important to remember. It is not a fundamental right or any right under the constitution. It is a legal right. Legal right means what? Guaranteed through Parliament Act. Here, legal right is called the right generated through the Act. Manrega Act is giving you the legal power to work. But this is only for rural people. Okay. So here, right to work in general is not any explicitly mentioned fundamental right or any constitutional right. Rather, it is a legal right created through Manrega Act, right? So in exam, if they are asking right to work is which type of right, it is a legal right. Okay? Yeah. Right. So let's move to the next article. Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS, and Alliance of Sahel States. So there are two organizations, international organization. Before we see this, we will see the context. Why it is there in use. The military regimes, that means these countries, Burkina Faso, Mali and Niger, they are being ruled by military, not by the democratically elected government. They are being ruled by the military heads. Okay? So they are being ruled by the military heads, and they have announced that their immediate withdrawal from the West African bloc, ECOWAS. So they have said that we are going to come out of ECOWAS starting from today. They have announced it. That's why it is the context. We need to know the background, why they have announced, what happened earlier. Those things we need to know. Then we will go to ECOWAS and Alliance of Sahel States. First background is this. ECOWAS has suspended these three countries, Burkina Faso, Mali and Niger. So they have suspended the countries because of the military coup. That means there was already an elected government through voting. These military heads has replaced the prime minister or president of that particular government, and they themselves said that we are the heads because they have a military support and they are the head of this military. So these three country military heads said in the respective countries in a different time period. It's not at a single day. In a different time period, they said that they have already removed the governments, elected governments, and they themselves are electing the country now. So there was a military coup by leaders of these three countries. So based on this, ECOWAS has removed, they have quelled or suspended these three countries from the organization because ECOWAS want to support the democratically elected governments across Africa so that it has freedom, it has certain elements, certain rules, so that they want to establish the democratically elected nations across the Africa. But these three countries went against it because the military has occupied these territories. So that is the background. So what is ECOWAS? These three countries are now not part of ECOWAS. They are suspended, and they themselves said that we will come out of it. You no need to suspend us, but we are immediately coming out of your organization. That's what they have announced. We need to see what is ECOWAS. It is like a regional political and economical organization. So like how India has SAARC or Quad, the number of organizations, international organizations, right? Similarly, this is for Africa, regional and political economic union of 15 countries in West Africa. This is very important. It is West Africa. So you can see here 15 countries This is the ECOWAS countries, right? And what is the main thing? Regional and political economic union. So whatever the trade they want to generate between the countries, employment exchange, economic, whatever they want to exchange, they are supporting each other in the Western African region. It was established in 1975, way back, through Lagos Treaty. So it was established through Lagos Treaty among the 15 countries. And what is the aim? It want to promote economic integration among the members. So how European Union, we have a single currency, right, euro. Similarly, these countries also want to enhance the single economic union similar to the European Union, right? So that is the objective. These countries has equal cultural and geopolitical ties. Historically they are similar to each other, and the headquarters of this organization is Abuja, Nigeria, not Niger. Okay, so Niger, they have occupied the military head. The military head occupied the civilian government in Niger, but the headquarters is in Nigeria. Don't confuse with Niger. And this, beyond the actual economic political union goals, they have also quelled military conflicts. If there is any military occupancy or military has occupied the civilian government, these organizations come for help and they have stopped that military, military being heading the government. So this is also, that's why they are trying to overcome these three countries by reinstilling the democratically elected government. So this is about the ECOWAS. And what is Alliance of Sahel States? How this is connected to ECOWAS, that is also important. After 2023 September, when ECOWAS has announced that we are suspending these three countries, they have come up to form their own group. Burkina Faso, Niger, Chad and Mali. So these four countries, they themselves said that we are establishing our own organization. You don't need to worry. So even if you are removing, we have our own organization. So it was mutually defense pact signed by Mali, Niger and Burkina Faso along with Chad as well in 2023 September. So immediately after announcing the suspension, they themselves have formed their own organization, and this pact was created after Nigerian. So Niger has, in the Niger, the military had occupied the civil government. So after immediately that, they have announced this grouping. Okay. So because ECOWAS was threatening them that we will occupy your regions or we will reinstate the government with our military support. So they themselves has cooperated to support each other. Okay. And what is the goal? What they have stated? This Sahel states, what they have stated, they are going to protect against possible threats from those countries or armed forces against them. So these 3-4 military countries have come together and they want to support each other in case of any threat from other countries. So what is the Sahel region? Here, Alliance of Sahel States, okay, we have said, but what is the Sahel region? That you may come with some doubts. So here you can see just below the Sahara Desert, there is one area. This is called as Sahel region. Sahel is a name given to different biogeographic zone. For example, within India, we have evergreen forest, we have desert forest, we have coastal forest. So similarly, the overall, if you consider the earth diversity, here we have a separate biogeographic zone. The what you call the type of landscape, the type of plantation they grow has a different quality. So that's why it was given with the Sahel, and the Sahel region is from which continent, they may ask something like that. It can come in the exam. So it is a separate biogeographical region in the Africa, which has a transition climate between Sudanian savannas. So savanna is a type of climate, right? And drier Sahara. So here we have a desert, dry Sahara, and below it we have savanna. So this is a transition zone between these two climatic zones. That also we need to know, right? So that is about the Sahel region. Now the next article is INSAT 3DS. So the context is this: ISRO is ready to launch INSAT 3DS satellite in the coming February. So they have announced that we are going to launch the INSAT 3DS in the coming February. That's what the context. We need to know about INSAT 3DS. Before going for knowing the INSAT 3DS, let's understand what is INSAT. Okay, we will see what is this diagram also. INSAT full form is Indian National Satellite System. So Indian National Satellite System. So what is this satellite? It is a series of multiple purpose geostationary satellite. First understand the geostationary satellite here. So geo means earth, stationary means idle. So here earth have a orbit, right, in the near the equator. So earth has one equator in the two half, northern hemisphere and southern hemisphere. So here it also have orbit around it, okay, orbit near the equator. So satellite is launched at single place in the orbit. So we have a orbit here in this shape and we have satellite here. So satellite will not move in the orbit, it will locate at a single place, single point in the orbit. See here, so there are 3 points. So satellite is exactly kept at the point. Satellite is in synchronized with the earth speed. So if earth is moving the same amount of speed, the satellite is also moving. So if you see the satellite, it appears like it is a stationary one. Okay, so that was asked in the UPSC exam. But if you could have take other orbit, then satellite will be not in synchronized with the earth's equator. That will be geosynchronous, so it will be a different thing, synchronizing to the orbit rather than synchronizing to the equator. Whatever orbit satellite that is synchronizing to the earth equator, that is called as stationary. So it is not moving, rather orbit is moving. The satellite is not itself is moving, rather orbit is moving. So along with that same speed, with the earth speed, it is rotating. That is called as the geostationary orbit. So you can see the diagram. If you have any confusion, you will understand it. Okay, so it is a series of multiple geostationary orbits, INSAT, okay, launching in equator region. And what is the aim? The aim is to promote telecommunication, the television network. So if you are receiving data, means the data is sent to satellite and satellite will display the movies in the televisions. So this telecommunication, broadcasting, right, same thing, displaying television channels, and meteorology, that means climate related, weather related events, and search and rescue operations. So if there is any crash of flight or something rocket, so these satellites can pinpoint and they can recognize the crash sites as well, right. So these are all the objectives of this INSAT 3DR, and it was commissioned first in 1983, way back in 1983 when India won the World Cup, right, Cricket World Cup we have won in 1983, you can remember like that. So the satellite then was named as INSAT 1B. So this is a series of Indian National Satellite System has series more than 40 times we have launched based on the upgradations. And the first satellite that we launched was in 1983, which was named as INSAT 1B. Now we are going to launch the INSAT 3DS in 2024 February. It is I think 49th or 48th satellite in this series. Okay, so that means we will be removing, if you are launching 10 satellites, we will be removing 5 and then next 5 will be established. It does not mean that 49th satellite means there are 49 satellites of this series on Earth orbit. No, the most of the things or most of the satellites are already been removed and only upgraded satellites are there. So as of now, there are 9 operational out of 45 that we have launched. Only 9 were operational at present, okay, to collect the data. So it is also the largest domestic communication system in the Indo-Pacific region. So apart from Atlantic Ocean and other regions, only if you consider Indo-Pacific region, this is the largest domestic communication satellite. Okay, right. Some of the INSATs also carry instruments related to the meteorological observation. So not only about the communication but also weather related payloads are also being carried by the satellites, and they can also give data related to the rainfall or floods if any. So all these data can also be given by the INSAT series. Kalpana 1 is one such satellite which is exclusive for meteorological satellite. So there may be some satellites which are combination of communication as well as the meteorology, but this Kalpana 1 satellite is exclusive for meteorological satellite. In this INSAT, the first was Kalpana 1, which was the exclusive for meteorological data related to rainfall and weather. Now we will come to INSAT 3DS, which the ISRO is going to launch in the next coming week. It is an advanced meteorological satellite. Remember, it is not a communication satellite. You will be confused in the exam and you may put wrong answer, so be aware about it. It is an advanced meteorological satellite which is being launched with the coordination of Meteorological Organization, Indian Meteorological Organization and ISRO. Okay, so this will give more atmospheric related data like how much of moisture is there, how much of rainfall is possible, how the clouds are performing. So all these data will be given by INSAT 3DS, very important. Okay, and this will be part of series of climate observation satellites aimed at enhancing climate services. So whenever there is a temperature change, whenever there is a moisture change, it will give information to the concerned authorities. Okay, and there are already two such satellites, that is INSAT 3D and INSAT 3DR. So within INSAT, again there is a divisions of communication, exclusive, meteorological or combination. And these two are exclusive to meteorological already we have launched, and to upgrade this we are coming with the 3DS. Okay, it is going to be launched through the rocket of GSLV F-14. So satellite has to be launched through rocket, of course. So these satellites are going to be launched through rocket of GSLV F-14. Very important, right? So these are all the details related to the INSAT 3DS. And finally, the last article before going to the factual data. Any doubts? Okay. So we will see what is end-to-end encryption. There was an article in Hindu. We are not going to see the details, which is how it works and all. It is not relevant for our exam. Just understand the concept, how it works. Okay. So there was an article covered in the Hindu saying that end-to-end encryption is helpful for human rights organization from the intervention of law enforcement agencies like intelligence networks. Right. So what is encryption? Before going to end-to-end encryption, what is actually a encryption? Encryption is a way of protecting data from unauthorized access. So you can see here, if you want to send a data, a file, anything, this will be locked with unique code by the cloud. For example, there is a person A, there is a person B. In WhatsApp you can say. So you want to send some message to this person B. How it is transferred? It will go to cloud. There is a clouds which are storing large amount of data. Whenever you are typing it, immediately it is encrypted by the concerned, say for example WhatsApp. It will be receiving in cloud and it will be encrypted. That means no other person, there will be certain code. Even if some hackers try to hack it to collect the data here, they cannot, because it will be encrypted from unique code. So they cannot see the data. And once it is received to this person, then only they can open. Only one single person can open it, the concerned person to whom you have sent. Only this person will open that message. No other person can open this message. That's how the technology is designed by the concerned social media or whatever the media sources. So it works by transforming the data into a secret code that only the intended recipient will decipher. So only the intended receiver will decipher. So that is encryption. And what is end-to-end encryption? So rather than doing this A and B, this is called a encryption. But end-to-end encryption means this is the process involved. And encryption means just giving it as security code. But end-to-end encryption means it is a secure process. Refers to particular locations between which information is moved. So here location A is in Delhi, location B is in Mumbai. So these places are uniquely tagged with codes. So this data or transfer of data will happen between only those two desired locations. I have just said example from Delhi to Mumbai, and within Delhi we will have a particular geographical point, and in Mumbai also we have a particular geographical point. Only from point A to point B directly the data will be transferred. No other way they can decipher it, right? So encryption is generally used when referring to the privacy of storing the data, final storing of data. But end-to-end encryption is data when it is transferred from one place to other place. Encryption means storing data with unique code, and end-to-end encryption means when the data is being transferred in the process, that is called as end-to-end encryption. Okay, right. So that is about the end-to-end encryption. Now we will see some factual pointers which are important for our exam. So recently Australian Open 2024 has been concluded. So this can come even in UPSC, CAPF exams, maybe not in civil services, they have asked, but IES, many other exams, they may ask in the statement based or winners, they can ask, right? So it is one of the Grand Slams. There are 4 Grand Slams in the tennis. First Australian Open, then French Open, then followed by Wimbledon, and finally US Open. So there are 4 Grand Slams in tennis, and this is the first Grand Slam of the year. So let's see the winners rather than going into how much money and all, that is not very relevant for our exam. So in men's singles, the winner is Jannik Sinner from Italy, right? So this is the most favorite question that they may ask. And in women, okay, we will see the runner. So Sinner defeated Daniil Medvedev from Russia. So he is the runner. I remember one question asked in UPSC EPFO, who is the runner of 2020 Australian Open something. So runner also they have asked, right? So Daniil Medvedev is the runner and winner is Sinner, okay, from men's singles. From women's singles, the winner is Aryna Sabalenka from Belarus. So she has defended, and she is the first one to defend the title in last 11 years. Defended means last year also she is the winner, and this year also she is the winner, right? So Sabalenka was the winner, and the runner-up is Zheng Qin. So she is from China. So she is the runner-up. And in men's double, a unique one, Rohan Bopanna along with Matthew Ebden has won the men's doubles. For Rohan Bopanna, so this is the first maiden men's doubles title. He has won mixed doubles many times, but this is the first time that he has won men's doubles, and he is now ranked 1 in men's doubles titles, right? Not titles actually, ranking. So he is the oldest, 43 years. He is 43 years old, and he is the oldest person to get the rank 1 and also win the men's doubles, which is a very good thing, that he proved age is just a number. So winners you need to remember, Rohan Bopanna and Matthew Ebden from Australia, together they have tied up and they have won it. And the runner-ups is Simone Bolelli and Andrea Vausor from Italy. Both are from Italy. So they are the runner-ups. And from women's doubles, Chinese Taipei, that is Taiwan, Haixin Su Wei along with Belgian LC Martin. So this is not that important. Mostly they will ask from these 3, right? Mostly singles they will ask, but here Rohan Bopanna is there, so it is also important. And runner-ups are these people, you can remember if you want. And from mixed doubles, again the same person, the same woman has tied up with Poland, Zelensky of mixed doubles, men and women together. So these are the runner-ups, right? So this is also important for exam. Next one, researchers from National Bureau of Fish Genetic Resources have discovered 2 new species of congrid eels. So this is important, from where the location or from where the discovery has happened, from Tamil Nadu and Kerala regions. Eels are nothing but fishes, a type of fishes. So they have discovered the new type of congrid eels from Tamil Nadu and Kerala. So this is a pointer to remember. Then one more pointer, very important. The European Union launched European Port Alliance. European Ports Alliance. So in Europe we have different ports. So they have launched European Ports Alliance on to harmonize method to combat drug smuggling. So there is a increased drug smuggling in recent times from Africa. So here there is a African touch, the contact. So in Mediterranean Sea there is a transfer of drugs from Africa to Europe. That's why they have come up to handle the drug menace. Then laughing gull, a type of bird, you can see here a type of bird. It is a migratory bird from North America. That means USA, Alaska, Canada, Mexico. So these are all North American countries. It is a migratory bird, and for the first time was seen in Indian subcontinent. So where we have seen this? It is in Chittari estuary in Kasaragod district, Kerala. This is also important. So Chittari estuary in Kasaragod district, they have found for the first time. This bird is seen in Indian subcontinent for the first time. Where? In Kerala. Okay. So that is also important fact. And finally, Ministry of Ayush has launched first yoga naturopathy hospital in Northeast. For the first time in Northeast India, we got first yoga and naturopathy, where it is being launched, Dihang Commit Ghat in eastern Assam. Very important. Among northeastern state, it is being established in Assam. Okay. So this is about today's news. Let's practice some questions now. So let's practice some questions from today's discussion. First question, consider the following statements about special economic zones. So we have seen special economic zones discussion, we have done a decent discussion. So we will see some practice questions. They are established to promote investment and employment in India. So that is the objective. They are established to promote investments and employment in India. Second one, they were established during the COVID pandemic years in 2020 and 21. So they are saying that CES was established in COVID years. As of January 2024, most of the CES are located in eastern and northern part of India. So these are the statements. So someone can answer this. 1A. Okay, we will check whether this is the answer. Any other answer? Okay, we'll go with the explanation. So they are established to promote investment and employment. Yes, right. So that's why the CES has been established. So there is no elimination possible because one is there everywhere. Second one, they have established in COVID pandemic years. Wrong. The CES Act 2005, it has come with the implementation, or implementation has come in 2006. So this statement stands wrong. 2 you can eliminate. Right. So finally, as of January 2024, most of the CES are located in eastern and northern part of India. No, 64% we have seen Tamil Nadu, Karnataka, Andhra Pradesh, right? So it is mostly located in the southern part. So this is also wrong, and answer is A only, right? Very good. So someone have answered it as correct. Answer is 1 only. Second one, consider the following statements about caste census in India. So we have seen the brief discussion about the caste census. We will see. So if you have listened the issue and the background, you can easily answer it. All these are not directly kept in the discussion. We will just modify accordingly and we will frame the questions. But you need to understand the issue and you have to answer the questions. It is a process to collect data caste-wise uniformly across India. So this is the first statement, that process to collect data caste-wise uniformly across India. Second statement, the first caste census in independent India has conducted by Rajasthan. So this is the second statement. Then third statement is caste census generally is conducted through census for every 10 years. So these are the 3 statements. Can anyone answer this? Okay, so this is type of question recently UPSC has asked. Rather than giving 1, 2, 3 and all, they are giving how many among 3 statements are correct. Only 1 statement is correct, only 2 is correct, or all the 3 given statements are correct, or none of the above. So they have asked. So anyone answering this question? 2 is A, only 1. We will see. It is process of collecting data caste wise uniformly in India. No, there is no uniformity across India. Different state governments are conducting different caste census. There is no uniformity. So only one, first statement is wrong. Second, the first caste census was conducted by Bihar, not Rajasthan. So second statement also stands wrong. Caste census generally conducted through census for every 10 years. No, caste census is not being conducted along with the census. So answer is D, none of the above. Okay. So that is about the question. Next, Mahatma Gandhi National Rural Employment Guarantee Scheme is administered under which ministry? So which ministry is handling Manrega scheme? Anyone? So which ministry is handling Manrega scheme? Niti Aayog, Ministry of Rural Development, Ministry of Labour and Employment, and Ministry of Panchayat Raj. Which ministry is handling it? 2B. Yes, you are right. So answer is Ministry of Rural Development. We have seen, so it is handled by Ministry of Rural Development. Next question. What is the objective of recently launched European Port Alliance? What is the objective of recently launched European Port Alliance? So it has come up with by European Union. First statement, to curtail the attacks by militant groups in maritime boundaries of European countries. First statement. Second, to enhance the port infrastructure to carry out operations in winter season. So winter season usually the European ports are facing extreme weather, so that's why they are saying that it is going to operate and enhance technology. To combat drug smuggling and infiltration by criminal groups, that is third. Fourth, to create a unified transit corridor for free movement of trade and commerce. Right? So answer, someone has said 3B. Okay, 3B we have already done. So fourth is C. Right? This is the right answer. To combat drug smuggling and infiltration by criminal groups. Correct. Last question. The technology end-to-end encryption, sometimes mentioned in print media, is aimed at. So last question. So they are asking what is the objective of end-to-end encryption. First one, protecting satellites in space, to encourage gene editing methods to reduce hereditary disease, to secure the network of private individuals who are saving the data in cloud. Fourth, to prevent data being read or secretly modified other than intended individuals. So what is the answer for this end-to-end encryption? Fifth question. So this is the four options. Anyone? Okay. So we'll go with the answer. So we have seen the end-to-end encryption is to secretly handle the message. So it is not going to allow anyone to read other than the intended individual. So answer is D for this question. Okay. So you may confuse with the C. It is not going to secure the data that you are storing in the cloud. So whoever want to store the data in cloud, it is not going to save. It is only for certain selected companies which want to end-to-end encryption. Okay. So the most suitable answer is D. Right. Fifth is D. So thanks a lot for the today's session. So we have very important articles that we have discussed. Try to revise them and make a short notes. All the very best.